Shalom, shalom, family. It's your brother Woodrow back one more time. I did it the wrong way. I told y'all I'm new to this. Well, not new to here, but I'm new to the way that I'm trying to do things now. I'm just trying something new. And so far, so good. I'd like to thank everybody for checking it out, man. And all praise to the Most High. Thank you to YouTube for letting people know that it was up. So, hey, man, let's go. But I messed up, like I said last week. I'm gonna mess up. I messed up because instead of me recording the whole message all the way through for the short and then clipping it and making the short, I actually just made the short as a standalone. And now I feel kind of silly reading the whole thing back that's on the short. So if not, you didn't see it, then go back and look at the short and then we continue from here, and I guess I call this part two to what the short was. It's basically the same message, but it's the rest of it. So here goes. We could do a little recap if you want. If you don't feel like going back and looking at the short, I just give a little recap. Like what I talked about in the short was how there was a gentleman on Instagram. It was a video of a gentleman getting his hair cut, and he went from having like a full beard. And it was like a really, like a beard that people would say is goals. He cut that off to get a goatee. And when I first saw it, it kind of upset me. But when I thought about it, I was like, man, what you getting upset for? That's that man's face. However he chooses to wear his facial hair, if he cut it all off, what business is it of mine? What concern is it of mine? That's his face. And I basically was saying that as a thing to let people know that sometimes we as people just get too invested in what somebody else has going on, and we have too many opinions on other people's lives. So sometimes when it's something that don't concern us, it's best to just let that person live their life and do what they do, even if sometimes we think, because my whole point was I'm struggling to grow mine, and all praise to the Most High, it's looking better and better. It's growing in. So maybe he heard my cry. I thank him. And I thank you to everybody who reached out and said that they had some different things for me to try, other than or suggestions. Some of them I had tried already, and other ones I hadn't. So I'm grateful. Sometimes what they say, closed mouth don't get fed. It's a good thing just to open your mouth and talk. You know, what they say. What's the word? Not seeking, you shall find. It's another one. You have not because you ask not. That one. So maybe it's that. If I was asking, I wasn't asking the right people. But all praise to the Most High, He didn't put some of the right people on my path. Because some people that gave me some information just from earlier this week when I posted that video. But my whole thing was I had been struggling to grow mine. So to see somebody else get theirs and it was so full and they ain't even appreciated like how I would have appreciated it. But it ain't about me to appreciate because that's their face at the end of the day. And so many times, like I said, a lot of us look at other people, basically count other people's blessings, and say what they would do with the blessing, or we even, I can include myself because I was the one that was guilty and the one, of looking at how the man Barry was and being mad because he cut it off. We just say, oh man, if that was me, I'd do X, Y, and Z. So because we would do X, Y, and Z, we think automatically that the other person is supposed to do the same X, Y, and Z that we would do, and that's not always the case, and it don't have to be the case. Bobby Brown made that hit record years and years ago. That's my prerogative, and that was certainly his prerogative with it. That guy wanted to do with his facial hair. I'll give y'all another example. Other night, some of my family for real was just like chilling somewhere out at a little spot, little bar lounge or whatever. And I wasn't doing anything. It was after Shabbat. So I was like, shoot, why not come out and see what the fellas got going on or whatever, what my brothers got going on. So it happened to be like a particular young lady there, and she looked great to me. And what they say, what's the old school saying? I want for my brother what I want for myself. I ain't no hater. When I looked over at her, I seen her gaze was on him. Her eyes was on him for real. So I told him, and me and that brother, our taste in ladies is like very different. So it's like she looked great to me. As soon as I pointed out, I'm like, yo, you ain't gonna get on that shorty. I mean, that was my title back in the day because I can always, it's weird, I can always spot when somebody like one of my homies, but I can very rarely spot when somebody got their eye on me. Like somebody would have to tell me. And there's been times when people would tell me that somebody was checking me out, and I ain't even peep that, but I would always peep when somebody had their eye on one of my folks. With one of my homeboys back in the day used to call me the point guard because I surely will point him out. And I was to him, I was excited because I thought she was a catch, like something real nice, have on his arm or whatever the case. And he was like, "Oh nah, she ain't for me." And I was like, "For real, yo? She ain't for you." Like, boy, let me be you for one day. And that was always the case with me when I was younger, because I was more like the Steve Urkel type, like the big glasses and the buck teeth and stuff like that. I wasn't really what the chicks was seeking after at the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had my fair share, and it was weird because when I was in elementary school, I still have allergies. I told y'all that last time. But when I would take allergy season, I would have to take my glasses off a lot. And whenever I would take my glasses off to like rub my eyes and stuff, not whenever, like it happened every single time, but there were times where I took my glasses off to rub my eyes, and it would be like this one young lady, and she was beautiful, and she was like, "Hold up, do that again, boy." And I said, "Do what?" And she's like, "Take your glasses off." I took my glasses off, and she looked right in my face. This is like the third grade. She's like, "I'm in love with you." I'm like, "What?" I say, "Stop playing with me." I wouldn't even believe she liked me because she was so pretty. I thought, people play practical jokes and you watch the sitcoms and stuff and you see where the girl play a joke on the guy and had a whole class laughing at him and stuff like that. So I never took her seriously, but come to find out she really did like me. Like at the end of the year, something happened. Like our teacher was like, we looked like a cute little couple or whatever. And we in elementary school, but she was like, "Y'all two just look so cute." So she made, it was like this little play where there was a wedding, and she picked her and I to be the two that got married in the little wedding or whatever in the play. So it was another girl who was the understudy, and it was nothing wrong with the girl. Like, you know how when we young, we think it's something the matter with somebody and everybody laugh at them or whatever. But really, the only thing wrong with the other girl is that she was a crybaby. She used to cry for anything that went wrong, anything that didn't go her way. She would like really cry and throw tantrums. So nobody liked her. Like everybody, when they seen her coming, everybody be like, "Ew, ew, that's her, ew, ew." So it's like she made her the understudy for the young lady in case she didn't come to school that day. And then it was a guy who was the understudy for me. I don't even remember who was the understudy for me. So then she kept on telling me she like me. I was like, "You don't like me." She's like, "If I ain't like you, I'd have stayed home and made you had to marry the yucky girl, the one that cried all the time and stuff." I was like, "Oh wow, I sure appreciate you. You really do must like me." But it was just weird because I wasn't used to that reaction because I was always just like the nerd for real. They even had a song, like the Beastie Boys had this song that say, "Girls, ding, 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 in the morning is girls." And they took that song, the girls in our class took that song and remixed it and made one of their own called Boys. And like different guys in the class. And I should have felt special because everybody in the class didn't get a bar in the song, but I actually got a bar. But it was like not really a compliment because my bar was "Some are geeky like James, ding 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 ding." And now it's like then I was kind of mad and embarrassed, but now I'm like, hey, at least I got mentioned. But like that was my mo, just being the geeky guy or whatever. I was cool with all the guys because I love wrestling, and I would bring my wrestling magazines, and we would sit there, me and a couple of my other buddies, they'd have their magazines, and we'd trade them off and stuff like that, or Nintendo and stuff like that later on. But as far as the ladies, I wasn't really the ladies' man. So like when the lady would tell me something like that, and it was a couple of them, whenever that would happen, I would just be in like disbelief, like, is she playing with me? Or is she dead serious? And later on, things happen to let me know that some people was dead serious. But I'm veering off the topic. Basically, what I was saying was, I was always cool with the guys who had all the ladies. I was like the man next to the man for real. But so with that being said, it would be like certain young ladies that would like my homie, and I already had in my mind like, hey, I don't really have a chance, so the most I could do is live vicariously through my homies or whatever, you know. So when I saw somebody that was to my liking and they would like one of my homies, I'd be rushing to tell them so they could do something about it, so that I could at least live through their stories or live through seeing them together and stuff like that. But a lot of times they wouldn't like the ones that I picked or that I thought that they would like or that I was excited about that liked them. And the one that they would come back with, I would be like, really? And my whole thing back then was like, yo, let me just be you. I would say that to myself about like so many of my friends and even some of my family members, like, boy, let me be you for one day. And I'll show you how it's supposed to be done. But the reality of that is what might make me feel excited or somebody that might make me excited to be around will not do that for that person. So each one to each his or her own, you know, to each their own. Like that's the bottom line of what I was saying through this whole thing. And it's like I think that we as a people, so many times, you know, like we always assess so quick to assess somebody else's life and somebody else's situation and what we think they should have or what we think that they should do, you know. Like I had somebody call me one time and I try to skate around or whatever, but I have to hit the go direct. It was like a brother called me and asked me to do some acting or whatever, and I'm not an actor by a long shot. I don't even know how to act like me. I was in a play one time, like a nationwide play, and they had written a role for me to play or whatever, and I sucked at it. Like they tried to tutor me after the shows and everything like that, and try to help me, but it never worked out. Like because I didn't know how to do all that. Like my reaction to things is my reaction to things. My reaction to things is not the typical normal reaction that somebody else would have. So what they did, they didn't send me home. And shout out to the director, didn't send me home, but basically he just let me just be myself and made me a sidekick to the lead character, which was what I was hired to be, because I was hired to be the lead character just off of what my old job was, you know, and they figured I might be able to put some butts in the seats. And then shout out to two of my brothers in the industry, in the entertainment industry, that had done a play prior to that, and they vouched for me, but mostly more so on the strength that I was a good person, because they had never seen me act or anything like that, so they didn't know if I could act or couldn't act, and then to the fact that I would be able to hold down whatever my singing abilities, my singing duties would be. You know, they had me sing for them for audition or whatever. I passed that part. But then when we got down, they flew me down to Atlanta for the acting part. And everybody faced this little puzzle the whole time that I was up there acting out whatever I was supposed to be acting out. They was like, that's how you act? If somebody did that to you in real life, like that's how you act? For instance, like if your girlfriend broke up with you, I'm like, hey man, my girlfriend broke up with me, and I can't even say what I did because this is a inspirational. I ain't do nothing bad, but it's just inappropriate for this type of video. But it was definitely not the typical response that something would happen if somebody's girlfriend broke up with them in real life, in anybody else's real life. But that's why everybody else is everybody else, and I'm me. And it's like I had the one liner that I did, we came up with together. I executed it perfectly every night, and everybody laughed. Everybody got my laugh, and then me and the guy who was who took over the lead role, we sung a duet together, and we brought the house down every night with that. But as far as me acting, I'm not an actor. So like the brother reached out to me to do some acting, and he asked me about my former career, and he was like, "Yo, would you he's like, would you consider, doing whatever?" And I was like, man, I've been approached about that. And he just got like, because he's a guy who does music as well, but he never made it to the level that the organization that I used to be a part of made it to. So he was just like, yo, you know how many people would love to have that opportunity, yo, and you just not gonna do it. And that's really actually what made me come up with the whole analogy or whatever about me wanting the beard and not being able to grow it. And when I see somebody else that can grow it, and then they choose to cut it off, I felt slighted or whatever like that. Like third party, I'd be mad. And I was like, that's the same way. Like this is a gift. The gift that I have is a gift that the Most High gave me, and it's for me to do with it what I will and what I feel like that He wants me to do with it, not what I feel like somebody else wants to see me do with it. Like it's a scripture. I'm not a scripture. It's a meme that I love. It say, "Be who you want to be, not who others want to see." And it also says another one that said, "In order to please the Most High, you will have to disappoint some people." So I keep that in mind like all the time, and it's like it's like at this point in time, and me being at this ripe old age, it's a little easier because in the beginning I was always a people pleaser. Like I would always want to do what I thought was gonna make people happy. But the older you get and the more you live, you realize sometimes when you making everybody else happy and you the only one miserable, that's not a good feeling. And I felt like that for the longest, and I told myself I never want to feel like that again. It's different if the Most High want me to do something, and I might not necessarily want to do it. That's different. I have to bite down and just do what it is that He wants me to do. But when it comes to people, I feel like people don't never had any problem letting me down. Sorry, Wood. My bad, Wood. My bad, Doug. I heard that a lot. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I wouldn't have to work anymore. So it's like at some point you have to do what's best for you and do what's you feel like your destiny and what you were born to do. And some things are for like a wise man. He probably regret that he told me that. Now he shall remain nameless. But he used to always tell me and everybody who was within earshot, things and people are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So certain things for a season. And my favorite thing to say, King David came into the game as a shepherd boy. And then he went from being a shepherd. He spent years as a shepherd. That was one part of his life. He went from the shepherd period into being a warrior. And then he went from being a warrior, and sometime in between those points, he was the psalmist also. And then he became a king. So well, maybe the psalmist thing went all the way through, but a shepherd, a warrior, and a king. And in them, each of them different respective ones, he never went back to the one before that. Or maybe the warrior and the king kind of crossed each other, whatever. But he never went back to being a shepherd. It was nobody like, boy, he's cool as the king, but I sure do like the way how you used to keep them sheep. I'm sure somebody appreciated the way he kept them sheep, but he didn't turn back to being a shepherd because that's what somebody else wanted to see. He had to fulfill his destiny in the Most High. And I honestly and truthfully feel like my time in the entertainment industry was number one, a learning experience because certain things you had to get out of your system because if not, you always wonder what if. So once I got out of it, what I needed to get out of it, like I have a shirt that says, sometimes the Most High will allow you to get everything you want just so you can realize that it was not at all what you needed. And that's basically the end that I came through with that. And I just wanted to leave that part behind me amicably, like you'll never see me when I say you'll never, because there's times where you have seen me say things or just basically clarify things, but that's not my life to just sit around and bash anyone or anything for what they got going on, but that just wasn't the thing that I needed to have going on. And so it's like when people come to me and they, oh, yo, you couldn't do this one more time. You couldn't give us one more. You couldn't do it one time. Pop out one time for the one time. I'm like, man, guess what? You go back to your old job. If you I don't know which you might be now, but whatever your first job was, and you just pop back up, put your uniform, and get to doing whatever that is at the stage where you at now, it probably wouldn't even work because you're not even the same person mentally. And that's what I try to tell people all the time. I'm not even the same person mentally that I was back then. So it would never work, you know. It would feel forced and contrived, and it would feel like, here, that's what you want. Here, take it. Like you want somebody cooking for you, and they don't really want to cook. The food gonna be nasty because, like, a friend of mine told me, good friend of mine told me, you taste the difference in food when people cook with love. when you go in their house and they got their music playing and they feeling good and it's good vibes, good feelings all through the house. That food tastes different from somebody that's just cooking because they have to and they don't even feel like it and they put it on your plate like, take this, here. you know? It's a completely different thing. And it's like whatever I give to the world, whatever it is that the Most High would have me give to the world, like even doing this, excuse me, I do this with joy. Like I light up when it's time to do this. I'm happy when it's time to come and sit before everybody and talk to everybody and share what it is that the Most High laid on my heart. I'm passionate about this. If I go and lay a hook for my brothers, the Shadows, or for my other brothers, any of my brothers in the truth or whatever, my brother John Boy, shout out to him, any of my brothers, I do that with joy. I do that with a smile on my face, and I dare not take a penny from them when I do it because it's really a labor of love and it's really something that I enjoy doing from the heart, you know? And that's the things at almost 50 that means something to me, doing things that's from the heart and doing things that I enjoy. But I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to make it too long. I had got some scriptures that go along with the first one that I had read. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 3, verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for there are more things are showed unto thee than men understand. The Common English Version says, don't meddle in things beyond your own affairs, since you have already been shown things beyond human understanding. Some things that you might got going on is beyond somebody else's understanding. So worry about what you got going on. This is verse 24. Speculation has led many people astray, and a false conjectures have weakened their strength. I didn't know what conjectures meant, so I looked that up. Conjectures means an opinion, a conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. Similar words are guess, speculation, or surmise. So basically, guessing has led many people astray, and speculation has led many people astray, and false guesses. You guessed it. Whew! But you are right. It weakened from their thoughts. One more. This is from the New Testament. It's 1 Peter 4 and 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. So they saying that's right up there. You see the things he named, that's right up there with being a murderer and a thief, being a busybody in other people's matters, other people's business. Good News Translation. If you suffer, it must not be because you are a murderer or a thief or a criminal. That's what the evildoer is. Or a meddler in other people's affairs. So basically, everybody mind our business, me included. Nah, mind your business. Shout out to Rod Lee. That's a classic. This is Proverbs 6, verse 16 through 19. These 6 things doth Yahuwah the Most High hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. 17, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. Number 18, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running into mischief. Number 19, it's another thing that people do. A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. There's some people that if you don't do what they want you to do, they'll try to turn everybody else against you. They sow discord between you and other people and try to make you out to be a bad person just because you don't want to do what they want you to do. And that's an offshoot of being a meddler in other people's business. This is from the Amplified Bible, the same thing. These 6 things Yahuwah hates. Indeed, 7 are repulsive. That's what abomination is. It's repulsive to him. Make him want to throw up. Make him, he can't even look at it. He's like, It says, number 17, a proud look, the attitude that makes one overthink himself and discount others. People that think they better than everybody else, or think they so great and everybody else ain't nothing, or somebody else ain't nothing. A lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood. Number 18, A heart that creates wicked plans, plotting on somebody's scheming. Feet that run swiftly to evil. So many people, they see something going on, they can't wait to get into the middle of some foolishness. And never know, they might be rushing to their own undoing. I'll leave it at that. And I don't know which words you ain't supposed to say it. I ain't trying to get in trouble. I just started getting my stuff facilitated to everybody. I don't want it to stop on my account because of my mouth. This is verse 19. A false witness who breathes out lies or even half truths, it says. Even if you just telling a half of the truth or you keep back part of it because one part of it to make the other person look good and make you look bad, or vice versa. They just tell half the truth. And one who who spreads discord, and that's rumors amongst brothers. So we should just strive not to be none of those people. As another verse that say, strive to do your own business, working with your hands. And I did a whole video about that one before, but I still put it up on the screen. That's what we should do more of, just focusing on being our best self with our skill set, with our gifts and talents, with what we do have. Like we say, what Mariah Carey say, I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. And if all of us focused on doing that, I think the world would be a much, much better place if we all just focus on doing the best we could with what we have, instead of counting out people's blessings or counting out people's pockets or counting anything that belongs to somebody else. That go back to the Ten Commandments. You should not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. So anything that your neighbor got, we can't covet that because we can only be who the Most High made us to be, you know? And sometimes focusing on doing things or being or looking or having what the next person have, it can be, at the same time we could be taking to develop the blessings that we have. So with that being said, I hope I gave everybody something to think about with the scriptures to back it up. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Much love. Shalom. I hope everybody have a blessed Shabbat and a blessed rest of their week, whichever day you tune in to see this. Shalom, shalom.